We're in a kind of a living room setting, a home setting, and that's a great place to talk to Dean White from Caring Senior Service about in-home care for seniors.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Michael, good to see you again.
Good to see you
It's
again.
always good to be back here at Laguna Woods
Absolutely.
TV.
Yeah, and thank you for coming in. Let's talk a little bit about what Caring Senior Service does, just for folks who may not be familiar with your product.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we provide, I think, is peace of mind. It's a time that mom and dad are starting to struggle a little bit. Either there's dementia, they have fallen, they might have some not only forgetful things, but there also might be some physical things. And we provide a caregiver that comes in and restores life. And I know I say that in a grandiose way, but it's really true. We have people who are just getting through life, and then we bring a caregiver, and now they can go back to what they're used to or doing, or go back to the grocery store, get back into activities. It brings not only some more life in that person that that we're bringing caregiving to, but also brings peace of mind to the kids.
Now, some people might call and they say, well, so why should we call? Why should we call these and get this service in the house? One way, and it seems strange, you're hiring a service on, but it could save you money in the long run, right?
Oh, it definitely can. So let's say that you're not calling anybody and you're just taking a risk and somebody falls and slips and hits their hip.
Right. Now you're calling the fire department, you have an ambulance ride and all those kinds of things, right?
And you do. And then you have to change the house to better somebody to move around. Now we're looking at longer care, longer hours, versus if we just had somebody there 4 hours a day or 8 hours a day, you could have, make sure that they're not slipping and falling. Also, that's a good point that I just thought of. I go in the house and I take a quick look around and I'll say, okay, we need to remove the loose rugs. We need to add a little stool in the shower. Where can I get this, Dean? Well, let me show on Amazon. And that's all free. And so there's a lot of things that we can do that's preventative is what I'm saying.
Right, so the preventative things to head off those kind of emergency calls and those kind of services where it's like you just get hit with a bill and there's no shopping around, there's no looking for the best kind of deal, so to speak.
Yes, and I mean, I mentioned a fall like a hip, but some falls are even worse. Sometimes people fall and break a nose or
Or
even
have a
worse,
serious
hit their
head injury, things like that.
Yes, and then the other one is when we have a caregiver, the caregiver goes in and takes notes, and we're reading the notes of what's happening. We might be able to see something that's happening in that person's life and inform the kids that they don't even know that's starting to occur. And so if we're able to ward off something that is coming around the corner and prevent it now, then that saves a lot of pain and suffering and cost as well.
And another reason to call is just so people know other options. Like, what do you provide? What can we get? And during your assessment, what do you think we need?
It's really true. When I go into a house, it's a free assessment. We talk about the needs that somebody may have. We talk about the regular schedule they have, and we talk about what are they used to doing? Are they sleeping during the night? And there is a way to look at the costs and mitigate it. One of the ways is if you're a vet, and we've talked that before. So if you're a veteran, we're one of the few companies in Orange County that are approved with the VA that we can help with vets. Another way, they might have long-term care, but they don't know who to do and how to call them, et cetera. And I just had an appointment last week that I said, hey, let's just call your long-term care together. And the daughter kept saying, oh my gosh, we have the right guy. Because I asked all the questions that somebody may not know to ask. And one of them is, does this also come with respite? And then the family goes, well, what's respite? Well, it's a part of your policy that they can give some other hours for the family to have a break, and it's covered in your policy, but unless you ask, they're not going to tell you.
Now, it's not always the people who need the services that call. A lot of times it's the children of these folks or family relatives that say, hey, it's mom and dad are needing some help here, right? So you also get some peace of mind in that area too.
100%. And we get a lot of family members that live in a different state. Here, their mom or dad live in Laguna Woods, but they live in Idaho or Arizona or even across the country. We get to be their channel. And so they get to hear daily what's going on with mom and dad, or weekly if they're in their weekly, and they get to get a better pulse of what's going on, and that gives them a big peace of mind. I also go in there and I say, okay, The house needs to be suited with cameras in some situations and how to do that. And other times it's something that the parents have been fixing over and over again that just needs to be replaced.
Now, sometimes there's resistance from the people that are having the caretaker come into their home. Hey, I want my privacy, I want my independence, and how do you kind of overcome that struggle?
Yeah, that is such a present problem often. I'm not sure if I want somebody in here. No, we take it slow. One of the ways is that we start with a short shift and get used to having somebody there. But the other one is, if you don't like the caregiver, we simply switch them with somebody else. Now, if you went to Facebook and decided to hire a caregiver and go through the trouble and getting somebody there to save a couple bucks, you might be able to get a good one, but now it might be tough if they're not the right one to let them go. And where this one, I manage it all. We're bringing the right caregiver for you.
Okay. Now, whether it's you or another service, or if people are shopping around for multiple services, what are some of the questions they should be asking of you to kind of vet and figure out if this is the right service and fit?
100%. I feel like this is the moment that I feel like everybody should be taking a notepad down and saying, okay, these are the questions I should ask.
Okay.
The first one is, of course, what is your hourly rate? Is there an overtime charge? What other charges might be considered hidden? With mine, there's no sign-up fee, there's no service fee, but many companies have both of those. If you, what other fees do you have besides the hourly? And they might say a transportation fee, and that might charge for mileage. You really want somebody that just has a straight-through billing that's clean. So one of them is the pricing. The other one is how flexible are you on the hours? The big one is, are the caregivers background checked?
Right.
And are you fully insured, and are you fully bonded? So any legal company is going to be fully insured and bonded, so that if something goes missing or broken, we get to replace that. And so, but the big one is, do they have enough caregivers that we could take a caregiver that shows up and might do a great job, but it may not be the right personality fit? Then we switch them for somebody else. Okay.
And there's a variety of things that your caregivers can do, including meal prep and taking folks to medication, getting their medications, taking them to appointments, right? There's kind of a potpourri of things that you can people can choose from on what they're based on their needs, right?
Very much so. So a lot of our caregivers will take their client to the doctors, take notes within the doctor visit, send those notes to the office and home, so they know what's going so the kids know what's going on. Also, it's nice to have somebody take notes, because you don't always remember what the doctor says. But also meal prep, preparing them breakfast, lunch, dinner. Also, doing some light house cleaning. This morning, Anna showed up over at Carol's house and took her dogs for a walk, because that's the first thing that needs to happen. So the dogs went for a walk, and now she'll come back, prepare Carol a little breakfast and coffee, and then clean up the kitchen and clean up one room, and then get Carol ready for the shower. And as she's in the shower, she's going to strip the bed. She's going to get her sheets starting to get washed. Then help Carol, come out of the shower and get ready in the front room. Of course, have time with her dogs, and then start in a little bit on lunch. And then with also watch her meds, give her meds, the right ones, so that we don't forget what meds to take. So that's just an example.
Right. How important is it to have the consistency of a caregiver in the home, that they can monitor changes, they can relate those changes to doctors, family, loved ones, and be able to help make decisions? Because hey, I think your dad needs to go to the dentist, or I think those kinds of things, something they see because they're there all the time.
It's very important. So an example, we have a client named Ken, and Ken is, we were there just 4 hours a day, but Ken is starting to diminish a little bit mentally as well as physically. And so we discovered that he had a UTI. And we told the family, and the family were like, thank you so much. They took him to the doctors, and sure enough, got him on some meds. Because anytime there's a UTI, it also equals delusion. And so delusion, confusion, everything else, you never know what's going on with mom or dad. Why are they angry, or why are they leaving the house and wandering?
Okay.
There's something going on, and it's usually an infection, either tooth or a lot of times a UTI. But kids aren't going to initially see that.
Right, and they're not going to be there to see that, hey, there's something going on today, there's something different, there's something off, right? And the people who are there daily and they're giving those reports, they're the ones to notice that and to kind of step in and intervene. How important is it for you to know that the people you screen, we'll cut back to the folks in the house, are the professionals? They know what to look for, and you have them bonded. There's a security in that when you put someone in a house for someone's loved one.
Yeah, it's very, very important. We really want to make sure that they feel safe with this caregiver coming in. Now, especially when you're Laguna Woods, you don't want somebody just to knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm your caregiver." It's a little scary. Is it really my caregiver? It'd be better for it to have somebody that introduces them, that comes from a company that's reputable, that has been around for a number of years, where Caring Senior Services in 18 different states, 60 different locations. And I own the one right here in Orange County. So we love Laguna Woods. And it is so important that not only do we have the right caregiver that's trained, we have over 200 courses online that we take our caregivers through, but that it's also the right match. And so somebody that just needs somebody to come by once a week for 4 hours to help with laundry is different than somebody that might be bedbound that needs to be 24-hour care.
That's what I was going to say. Are there different levels of training that you have your folks do? There are certain people who, hey, this is a person who just kind of does a little meal prep and companion, cleans up a little bit, but then all the way to really almost like nursing care.
100%, yeah. And that's really important as I meet with the family to then pick a caregiver that matches that need and that's been trained. And we have a lot of men and women that come in as caregivers. And you want to match that person up with the right, physical person too. So if they are strong enough to lift me.
I was going to say like lifting an adult as opposed to just helping them in and out of rooms, or maybe they were pushing wheelchairs and having to load those into the cars, right?
Yes, we have everything from Christelle, who takes Kimiko to to get her nails done and get her hair done, and to somebody that is needing 24-hour care, and that we had, Nancy with Patricia, that is needing that care on a daily basis, and we had with Nancy and Win, and they would be caring for Patricia on a regular basis, making sure that she had a daily bath, she got fed, she was changed, and that she was living in a very happy way.
There you go. People living in happy ways. That's what Dean White's all about from Caring Senior Service. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Michael.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.